Hello, my name is Justin Goldberg, and I'm going to be doing a quick presentation on digestion and specifically the role of the pancreas and the liver in regulating digestion. So next, we're going to discuss what is actually digestion. So digestion is the chemical and physical breakdown of food into smaller subunits. So as humans, we require a lot of nutrients and chemicals, and we have to eat in order to maintain homeostasis, in order to have all our metabolism and reactions to continue our body. So for that to happen, we have to first eat food, and then we have to break it down. And the breakdown occurs in both occurs chemically and physically. So let's just say, we decide to eat a cheeseburger, which has vegetables, bacon, meat, bread. So that's all those things come out to being lots of carbohydrates, lots of lipids, proteins, all the essential macromolecules that our body needs for metabolism. So digestion begins by the mouth, where we chemically and physically break up the food. That food then enters the esophagus, which travels to the stomach. The stomach is where all the food is broken down where the food or bolus is broken down into chyme, and broken down to chyme through the acidity and hydrochloric acid of the stomach. And then that food from the stomach is then transferred to the small intestine, where a bunch of other chemical processes occur for where digestion's gonna in digestion. And in the small intestine is where we're going to see the liver and the pancreas play their part in digestion. I want to now discuss the actual location of where the liver and the pancreas are in comparison to the digestive tract. So when food enters the stomach and then it gets broken down by hydrochloric acid, it turns into acidic chyme, and that acidic chyme then goes through the pyloric sphincter and into the small intestine, specifically the duodenum. And located right in the S curve is located right inside of it is where the pancreas is. So the pancreas is almost attached right into the duodenum, and then above the duodenum you can see is the gallbladder, and then above the gallbladder in this image over here is where the liver is. Both the liver and the pancreas are going to both play a very important role in digesting the acidic chyme that comes in through the duodenum. Yes, so the pancreas is going to be the first organ that we discuss in digestion. And again, the pancreas is located right within the duodenum, in the S-shaped curve of it. And the pancreas is going to play a very vital role. And without the pancreas, digestion would never occur. So the first thing that the pancreas is going to do is release bicarbonate. And the bicarbonate has two very important functions. First, bicarbonate is going to neutralize the acidic chyme that is entering the duodenum. The acidic chyme is coming straight from the stomach through the pyloric sphincter, and if that isn't neutralized, it will create stomach ulcers and create a lot of GI complications. So bicarbonate will neutralize acidic chyme and prevent any kind of ulceration from occurring. And second of all, bicarbonate is going to create an environment where other digestive enzymes can come in and digest all the carbs, the fats, and the lipids that need to be broken up, that the stomach that is for absorption. So the pancreas is going to release protease, which is going to break up the proteins, lipase, which is going to break up the lipids, and amylase, which is going to break up the carbohydrates. The pancreas is also releasing insulin, which is an endocrine hormone. So it's going to enter the bloodstream, and then from there it's going to decrease the blood sugar. And we're going to touch on insulin after. And then we have the liver. And the liver plays a very important role in creating something called bile. And the liver creates hundreds and hundreds of enzymes, but bile is a very key enzyme in actual digestion. So before we were discussing how lipase is going to be, digesting the lipids that are coming in from the stomach and what we eat, but lipase cannot act on the lipids on its own, and lipids need to be first because the lipids are too big, and lipase can't just come in and break it up. So what needs to first happen is the liver needs to first produce bile. That bile is going to travel down the hepatic duct, and the common bile duct into the duodenum. And from there, the bile sol is going to emulsify the liver, the lipids into droplets, where then lipase can come in and absorb them. And if there's too much if there's too much bile produced, then the bile is going to be stored in the gallbladder for the next time digestion occurs. Yeah, so now that the liver has digested the lipids through bile salt, next we're going to discuss insulin. And insulin plays a key role. Insulin is released by the pancreas, and it's an endocrine enzyme because it's going to be released into the bloodstream. So insulin is released into the bloodstream, and its role is to increase the uptake of glucose out of the bloodstream and into the cells. And that glucose is then going to be stored in the cells and used for metabolism. But if there's too much glucose that's stored up, then that glucose is going to be, if there's too much glucose in the blood, in cells, then it's going to be converted into glycogen through glyconeogenesis. And that glycogen is then stored through the hepatic vein, through the portal vein. It's going to be stored in the liver. So your liver is where your glycogen stores are going to be. And whenever now your body starts, an individual doesn't eat any food and has no glucose, isn't taking any glucose or lipids or proteins, the first thing that's going to be used as food is what's ever stored in your liver, or the glycogen storage. The glycogen is going to be broken down through glycogenolysis into glucose, and then that glucose is going to be used, turned into fructose 6-phosphate, and used in glycolysis and the Krebs cycle and all the other roles in metabolism that goes on in the mitochondria and the cytoplasm of the cell. Yes, and just a quick summary of everything we discussed, that after chyme leaves the stomach, the pyloric sphincter, it enters the duodenum, and the duodenum is where the bulk of digestion is going to happen. And that digestion is because of both the pancreas and liver functions. The pancreas is producing bicarbonate. That bicarbonate is neutralizing the chyme and allowing an environment where protease, lipase, and amylase to break down carbs, lipids, and fats is going to happen. It's also producing insulin, and the insulin is going to create glycogen, which is going to be stored in the liver. And the liver is also producing bile. That bile is going to emulsify and create lipid droplets where lipase can then come in and further break down the lipids. A lot of absorption is now, because of all these breakdown, a lot of absorption is going to occur within the duodenum, and the rest of the contents from the duodenum is going to enter then the rest of the small intestine, the jejunum and the ileum, where then it enters the colon and the rectum. Without the pancreas and the liver, we wouldn't be able to exist and live. They're both vitally important for digestion, especially the pancreas. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for listening.